All right, Sagittarius, welcome to your November of 2015 Sidereal Astrology forecast. This is for Sidereal Astrology. If you're new to this type of astrology, do check the description down below for more information because your sign might be different. And I'm going to start doing these monthlies a little bit differently now. Before I was focusing on all the aspects of the month and it was getting very convoluted. Very confusing, in fact. So now I'm just going to simplify it. I'm just going to look at when a planet changes a house for you, which is very significant, as well as the new moon, the full moon, and any major aspects that are taking place in the month. That'll help keep things very big picture. And then if you want a more specific look, do check your weeklies for more information. All right, Sagittarius, so let's have a look right at the beginning of the month. Let me go and back up here. We have a conjunction between Venus and Mars. And those two planets are going to be going into your 10th house of career right when they do that. And so there's this yin-yang, masculine, feminine energy combining. And for you, it's involving the career stuff or legacy or anything on that public level. Now, it's nothing new. You've already had a new moon here. There should have been, over the past month and a half, a lot of focus here and thinking about this particular area of life. But now the motivation of Mars comes in here. So you could be quite direct, quite driven, in fact, to pursue a lot of these big picture things in your life, as well as enjoy it quite a bit, maybe even connect to relationships in the career, in the public life, etc., or just enjoy the the energy of that in general with Venus. So your motivation should be quite high, your energy level should be high with Mars here at the top of the chart, which is very nice. And all this life path stuff over the past 2 years has been unfolding for you to continuously grow into a new direction with the career, or legacy. And so that's some more positive energy here with these two planets going over the North Node this month and aspecting that. So that's between the 1st through the 4th. One thing I want to say too about this month is that you had that solar eclipse in your 9th. So the whole overall theme is still very much about the expansion of your horizons, about learning, about wisdom, about philosophy, spirituality, when it's about the fire energy of that, the wisdom of that. And that's going to continue to expand for you with Jupiter in this with Jupiter here in this 9th house of yours. And so for the next year almost, you're going to have plenty of opportunities, I would say, to open your mind in terms of seeing life in a new way with new possibilities. And from the 1st to the 8th, Jupiter is going to be opposing up to Chiron. So from the 8th onward, there is this sort of rejuvenation that takes place. So this first half, and really for the next year, I highly recommend anything that you feel like expands your mind, expands your soul, expands literally, like you're traveling, connecting to people abroad, all of that kind of stuff, because I think you'll find that very healing in a very positive way this early part of the month. And this is all balancing it too with the practical. You want to stay practical with it, although the more communicative practical stuff is unknown at the moment with Neptune. It is important to see the practical as well as the possibilities and merge those two together in a very grounded sort of way. So that's the very first part of the month. Then with that sort of conjunction there with Venus and Mars going into that 10th house, we do have some energy going into your 11th, and that's going to be the Sun. The Sun on the 5th goes into your 11th house, followed by Mercury on the 21st, and then we have a new moon on the 24th in this 11th house of Libra. So essentially the 11th house is everything that is about our hopes, our wishes, our dreams. It's about community stuff, networking, friends, anything that we feel like is larger than self. So it's a new energy. There's new energy coming into it. It's actually where you've already had Saturn the past couple years. So maybe you've been taking that stuff seriously. But here it's planting new seeds. It's seeing things in a new way. It's focusing on it. And anything that's about growing those visions and maybe even getting involved with community stuff or group stuff this early part of the month can be very nice, very enjoyable. And then, it's those new seeds which will culminate in about 2 weeks from this point later in the month. And then also in 6 months when we have a full moon here in this part of your chart as well. So yeah, malleable. This middle part of the month is still kind of reflective, but as the month unfolds, I think you'll see more of this energy going into the more networking and socializing, or getting involved with groups and things like that. So that's the 11th. Then on the 18th, we do have Neptune going station direct in that 3rd house. And what's interesting is right when he does, he squares up to Saturn. So this square energy is going to be going on all the way into December. And so here it's about uncertainty and just not knowing exactly how things are unfolding, perhaps in the spiritual front. Because Saturn recently went into your 12th house last month in October, helping you set a solid foundation with your spirituality, to take that stuff seriously, to really ground your spiritual discipline and get that alone time and all of that is so important in life. And through that, that's going to form the foundation for the other areas of life. But there's uncertainty about it, or maybe it's taking extra willingness. Maybe with all this stuff, in your third house, which is the daily stuff, not knowing how that's going, not knowing the mind, Neptune, it's more of like you have to listen to your intuition instead of the more not practical, but more of the rational side of things. Trust the feelings, go with your gut, that kind of stuff. Looks like the challenge with the square, but through that, the more willing you are to go with the flow, the more willing you are to get that rest and relaxation and build a solid foundation with that, then it does become very constructive. And observing the mind, is a huge part of this too, like through meditation with Neptune in that third. So can be very constructive, and that's going to build the foundations for the next 2 years actually with Saturn, but this month going into December. So that's the second half. Then on the 21st, Mercury goes into that 12th house. So there is a shift into the more spiritual aspects of life, followed by the Sun here on the 24th. And so here it's all very serious because you got Saturn, and these planets are going to be increasingly close to Saturn here. So work hard, practical. How can your spirituality be practical? How can you get that meditation, that alone time, and apply it while taking care of the daily stuff, and solidify it, make it into like a routine, or make it into something that's tangible in some sense. And through that, that's going to help really ground the Saturn energy. And then on the 25th, we have a full moon in that 6th house. So over the past 6 months, if you've been working on anything involving work, your craft, the daily activities, your health, your diet, your routine, it's now a culmination point of that to where you can see it very clearly. And so it's the awareness, it's the full moon, the sun bouncing off that moon energy. So it's seeing the importance of health, diet, routine, and how that can be implemented into the more spiritual alone time, and how the spiritual alone time is important in the daily sphere of things. And when you find that balance, then it really synergizes these two areas of life. But at the same time, there is uncertainty. There is unknowingness with Neptune. We're not sure how things are unfolding. But the more willing you are to observe the mind, go with the flow, etc., then it does become a very constructive time indeed. Now on the 28th, Chiron goes station direct. So if you have been noticing the correspondence or the communications or writing or reading or your intelligence, like in terms of like your rational intelligence, practical sort of mind has been in a reflective sort of process, a reflective phase over the past 6 months, or more introverted, that energy starts to become much more extroverted and starts to move forward this month with both Neptune and Chiron going forward. It could be correspondence or whatever it might be. So if that's the case, you'll feel that shift. And then on the 29th, we do have Mercury going into a fucus, which is getting deeper into healing. Because for you Sagittarians, your alone time, your spiritual time out is a very serious thing. It's about transformation. It's about depth. It's about openness. You guys really see the truth of self and the unconscious. Or you just take that stuff seriously. So with Mercury going into a fucus, it's taking it one step further. It's seeing the depth, it's seeing the truth about self, but then actually transmuting it, actually embracing and accepting the self, which is a fucus. And naturally through that, there's that transformation process, which you all are very familiar with. And here again, it's very practical. It's meditation. It's that kind of thing. And whatever you consider there, that's hard work. And there's a tremendous healing taking place from that. So Sagittarius, have a great month. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. And I'll see you all next time. Take care.